Hello, and welcome to the third part of our presentation called Limit Setting for Toddlers. In the previous two sections, we have examined why parenting this age child can be challenging for parents, as well as the unique issues that are involved with this stage of development. In this section, we will discuss what parents can do to set their children in the right direction while still maintaining their humor and sanity. The first step is to let your children do the work of toddlerhood. If you know that toddlers must explore, you can provide cabinets that are safe, perhaps filled with Tupperware, for your children to explore. On inclement weather days, build a fort from chairs and blankets. Pretend to have a picnic in the middle of winter. One mother who was stuck inside with two toddlers for long periods of time brought in bags of sand which she poured into large trays, dressed her kids in bathing suits, and turned her kitchen into a mini beach. Wherever possible, keep alluring but dangerous items out of sight. There may be some things that you can't move, but for those that you can, it is wiser to move them and save your energy for other, more fun activities than saying no.
If you know that toddlers have a building sense of independence, allow them to do as many self-care items for themselves as possible. Let them brush their own teeth while you're doing yours. You can go in for a final brush-up if necessary. Let them put on their own clothes. It may take longer, but if you plan for it, it can actually keep your child happily occupied while you're getting some of your own tasks done. Consider buying Velcro shoes and other toddler-friendly items.
If you know that toddlers dawdle, then leave extra time in your schedule to accommodate toddler time. Assume that 10 minutes of your life disappears somewhere between looking at the clock in your kitchen and looking at the clock in your car when you turn on the ignition. Some people have their children sleep in the clothes they're going to wear the next day to avoid any extra steps.
If you know that toddlers make messes when they eat, don't serve messy foods or else teach them to help you clean up. Don't serve rice if you're bothered by the mess and don't have time to clean it up. Some people have extra t-shirts that they always put on the child for eating, or they have the kids eat in just their diapers. You can also teach your child to help you clean up. They can use a dustbuster, or they can hold the dustpan.
If you know that toddlers have trouble making choices, then give them very limited choices. For example, do you want to wear the blue shirt or the red shirt? If they can't decide, then we can make the choice. I see it's a red shirt kind of day. In some stages, when anxiousness and stress are high, it's best to announce what's going to happen rather than to offer a choice.
If you know that toddlers love sameness, even to the point of being rigid, then build rituals to start the day, to end the day, for ending play, and for leaving places. Make sure you enjoy the rituals and that they aren't so long that you feel trapped by them.
If you know that toddlers have difficulty with transitions, then in addition to rituals, we can help our child by planning for change. We can give them warnings. After 5 more tosses of the ball, we need to clean up the toys. Okay, that's 1. For some children, parents find using timers help. The rule is when the timer goes off, then we need to leave. Often they accept outside things such as timers to be the rule and won't fight it as much as they would fight you.
If you know toddlers have a sense of humor, then motivate your toddler with games. Let's see who can climb into the car seat first, you or Mr. Bear.
In addition, there are other things you can do. First off, take time out for yourself. Count to 10. Take deep breaths. Even if you don't feel calm, you can fake it. Speak slowly and softly. At least that way you won't be adding fuel to an already explosive age.
You can also use a timeout for your child. Not as punishment. They're too young to understand, but as a way to remove them from challenging situations and give them time to calm down enough to re-enter. They can sit with you or they can sit alone, depending on what works better for the child. Before the child comes back, you two can discuss how the child will need to behave once the child leaves the timeout. The length of time for a timeout is unimportant. You should let the child rejoin the situation whenever he seems calm enough to do so.
You can pick up and remove the child if they're doing something dangerous. Act quickly and decisively. Don't wait for your child to agree. There are times when your child is locked into what he's doing. If your child won't listen to your words, step in and take action. Put the toy away. Turn off the TV. Carry them to the door.
Expect resistance. Don't expect your day to go smoothly with a toddler, and don't judge your parenting by how happy your toddler is. Don't cave in because your child is resisting. He's doing his job by complaining, and you're doing your job by keeping him safe and setting limits. To that end, you can use the broken record technique, where you repeat your request over and over again. Into bed now. Bed. It's time for bed. Remember, we just need one more request than they have a no for.
Give 2 yeses for every no. This is one of our favorite techniques. Often children don't know what to do with themselves. They've found something fun to do, even if we see it as unsafe or inappropriate. We tell them to stop, but why should they? They're having fun. Or they stop doing one thing and start doing another equally unsatisfactory activity. In these cases, it's good to redirect the child to 2 acceptable options. It gives them the power to choose and at the same time teaches them what would be good activities. So for example, you may not throw the ball in the house, you may roll it on the floor, or we can go outside to throw it.
Use praise and positive reinforcement. Children tend to continue to do whatever we pay attention to. So if it is their misdeeds, they'll continue to dump the puzzles on the floor or whatever it is that they're doing. If we catch them being good, they'll want to continue being caught doing an acceptable behavior.
Don't ask a question unless no is an acceptable answer. Do you want to go to bed now? If you ask by mistake and you get a no, then don't get caught into a power struggle. Say, okay, you can stay up till after we sing the song, and then continue with the nighttime ritual.
You can grant in fantasy what you can't give in life. Again, children love humor, so you may as well use it. One toddler didn't want to walk up a hill, but his mother was already carrying the new baby, so she couldn't oblige the child's request to carry him. Instead, the mom said, I know, wouldn't it be great if I were an octopus and had enough arms to carry both of you? The child said, or a kangaroo, and they played this game as they walked all the way up the hill.
It can also work to reduce boredom. Children of all ages tend to get into trouble or to nudge us when they're bored. Plan ahead with snacks and activities for long car rides, waits in doctor's offices or restaurants, or visits with friends and family. The advanced work can be well worth the effort.
Use natural consequences. Many of the things that we fight about with our toddlers will take care of themselves if we just step back and allow them to. For example, if your child won't put on his coat, don't fight about it. Carry the coat with you. When your child gets cold, he'll probably complain. At that point, you can tell him that coats will keep him warm. Give him the coat. He'll realize that you were, in fact, right and that he does need a coat. Eventually, he will be willing to put on a coat before he gets cold. It's usually warm inside the house where we're trying to convince him to put on a coat because it's cold outside. Let the natural consequences of being cold be the teacher.
For your own sanity, ignore what you can, unless the behavior is unsafe or drives you crazy. Remember that you don't have to fix every behavior right now. You have 18 to 22 years to influence your child growing into the person you want them to be, with the values you want to instill. You don't have to do it all now. Relax and
make time to enjoy, rather than always accomplishing. Put enjoyment on your list.
There are so many ways that you can work with your children, but there are just a few things we suggest you don't do. Don't name call. They may not hurt bones, but they will hurt your children's opinion of themselves. Don't threaten punishments or consequences that you're not going to follow through on. For example, don't say you're going to leave the park if you don't intend to leave. You're just teaching your children to ignore you. And finally, you don't need to hit your children to get them to listen to you. In fact, research suggests that corporal punishment increases fear and stress and reduces children's ability to learn the lessons we're trying to teach. It may end the behavior for the moment, but it decreases the long-term learning. Plus, remember that kids will repeat the same behaviors as teens. You may as well learn other techniques now that are going to carry you through those teen years. In summary, we can set limits and keep our toddler's self-esteem intact. By doing so, we will feel better about our parenting and about ourselves, too. To this end, please be sure to check out our resource library, which has additional child developmental articles specific to each age. Thank you for joining us.